Oh my God.
Alright, so call his name, don't Steve.
Would Jonah, Earl, Connor, Austin, James, Alex, Steve, Chris, and I come up here to get them?
Who's I? Earl and Jeremy.
Jeremy.
So does the audience know the criteria? I don't even.
No, they did not cover the criteria, other than, they kind of did, but if you want to cover what the 50 miler is for.
All right, so what we're going to hand out now is the 50-mile award patch that goes to a scout that participates in 50 miles afloat, either by canoe or by kayak, or I suppose you could do it by boat as well. 50 miles afoot, 50 miles on horseback, or 50 miles in a wagon or a cart. And we actually did 68 miles total. Probably 4 of those miles were just lost or messing around. You've got to stay out for 5 nights in the wilderness during that time period, and you've got to do about 10 hours worth of service work, which we picked up a whole bunch of garbage. I'm not sure that we actually got all the 10 hours in, but
They cleaned up a lot of parking lots along the way.
yes, we did. We stopped at every boat launch along the way. So all of these individuals have earned that 50-mile patch, which is something you might get if you go to Philmont or one of those faraway places. And it's not always earned by every scout that goes through scouting. So this is really a special moment. A lot of the Eagle Scouts that have been in this troop before have earned multiple 50-milers because we try to do one every year. So I know Jonah and Earl both have one already.
This will be my third.
This will be your third. All right, so you go. So I'm not in uniform. I'm just going to shake your hand with you. Congratulations. 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 Congratulations.
So I just want to say that this canoe trip wouldn't have been possible without Steve Goddard. Steve grew up on the Osaba River, so he was our guide for the week, and it went off without a hitch. His mom was our guardian angel, and Alex touched on the tent pole thing. But what he didn't touch on is when Austin, James, and Daniel realized that, I thought you got it. No, I thought you got it. No, why didn't you get it? They went into the woods, they cut some saplings, and they basically turned their Coleman store-bought tent into a teepee. So even if they had not gotten tent poles, they had set their tent up for the night and were prepared to sleep in that tent the way it was, and we really thought it was 4 hours before Steve's mom showed up with tent poles. So they had plenty of time, and they had plenty of time to stew about that whole debacle, because at one point they thought they were going to be all week. You know, they were already talking about how they were going to carry these poles with them all week and tie them in the canoe, so they wouldn't have to cut new poles every night for this tent. So, and that was just one of many things that happened. But the good thing is no matter what was thrown at us by the good Lord, these boys, they overcome, and that's what this is all about. And then I don't think they had a lot of fun though. Y'all didn't have much fun. So I know I had fun, and I think all the adults had fun, and I haven't heard any of the boys say that they did not have fun. So I think if Steve said, "Hey, anybody want to go back next week?" they'd probably all be ready to go. Let's go. So, all right. Thank you all.
All right, would Jeremy Pfeiffer come up and hand out the service pins?
Microphone. Can you all hear me? I'm not much of a microphone person, you all know that. Okay. I'm going to do this in an order that'll make sense after it's done. But I was reading in not Boys Life, the Scouter magazine a few months ago and realized that I had made a mistake from 8 years ago. That the boys were supposed to get service pins also. So I'd never done that before. You all see me at Blue and Gold give out service pins to my adult leaders and whatnot. And I'd never heard that the boys get service pins also. So I'm going to have the boys come up first, and we're going to go ahead and recognize their years of service. I'm going to start out with my Venture Crew boys, though, because they have three different pins that they're going to be hitting. So Jonah, Earl, Bradley, and Joseph knows why I'm not calling him, because he's not in uniform. He says his uniform doesn't fit him, something like that. So, okay. Now, Earl has 4 years of scouting and a year of venture, and Bradley has 5 years of scouting and a year in venture, and Jonah has 4 years in Cub Scouting, 4 years in Boy Scouting, and a year in venture. Congratulations, boys. I want you to stay up here, though. Okay. Let's go ahead and scoot on. The service in scouting is 3 different aspects: service to community, service to God, and service to self. These boys have worked hard in this last year to keep a Venture Crew going. As you all know, that was a goal set years ago. As the boys got older, we wanted to keep them, and we said we were going to start this Venture Crew. These boys have gone on four different outings, raised money through the year for those outings, and it's been completely done. All I do is tag along. In this aspect, the only reason I'm there is for their safety. So now I'm going to do James, Daniel, and Austin. No, you may not. Okay. James, Daniel, and Austin. These are the only boys that have the exact same pins. 5 years in Cub Scouting, 2 years in Boy Scouting. Started out together and still together. RJ, Connor, and Alex. My mistake, these boys also have the same pins. They didn't start out together. They didn't start out together. RJ started out in Berea, and Alex, where did you start? Louisville, right? And Connor started here, but they come together and they're still together. Ethan Blank's not here. Ethan Brewer and Brian, please come forward. They both have 5 years in Cub Scouting. Again, they started out together. Hopefully they'll be like this middle group, sticking together and getting all the same numbers. There's a couple younger guys I didn't call, and that's not to be left out, because you guys are as important as this crew up here. Service to community. These boys have come from Cub Scouting. Most of them went through Cub Scouting with us, and are now taking part in a program that's boy ran. And that program can only be successful if we recruit new boys. And so we have 2 that don't have any numbers but that's because they joined our community, and now hopefully, as the years go, they'll get their service pins. The service pins are unique because you actually have to be there. You have to, this represents their life in scouting. And as we go on, they'll hopefully collect adult leader pins in the future. And so they can wear all four of those across right here. Something that stays with you. So, stay where you are, guys. This is the backbone of 180 tradition scouting in Garrett County. Without them, we couldn't get the parent support because there wouldn't be any parents. And without them, the head would have no purpose. So, thank you guys, but I don't want you to sit down. Okay. We have a few leaders that are absent tonight. So, first let's call the troop master, Chris Ward. He has 4 years of service, 2 in the Weeblo program, and then assisting the Scoutmaster last year and Scoutmaster this year. Before him would have been Zach. Zach has 3 years of service. He was an Eagle Scout with our program and came back as an adult leader. And then next would be Gina. She serves as popcorn colonel for most of the last 7 years. Thank you. And assistants in different parts. And then would be me, Jeremy. I got 8 years now. I'll just tuck that there.
Belongs to the washer.
No. And then we should have Chris Lang, who would be 10 years of service. And then we have our Jedi Master come on forward, Steve Goddard, with 28 years of service. And this is the older Boy Scout version of 180 in Garrett County. Thank you all.